Hello and welcome to Heavy Metal Rex. My name is Awais, and today I'm going to be talking about two different things that have come up multiple times. People tell me all the time, and sometimes people have arguments on the internet based off of information that maybe they don't have, and that's sales and the price of the WRX and other cars, which we'll look at here in a little bit. Now, yes, the sales on WRXs are down. Everybody's been talking about it. It's been discussed on other YouTubers that have talked about it. People have been talking about it on Reddit, and they're trying to figure out where to point the blame. Is it the price increase? Is it the fact that there's no STI, no DCCD? Is it low power? What is it? So there is an article here on Motor One that finally kind of tells us something directly from Subaru, what's been going on, at least on the sales part. So as you guys know, Subaru makes the WRXs and the BRZs in Japan, and the Gunma Prefectorate, is it? Gunma Prefectorate. And then they ship them here. Mine actually came into the port in Chicago. That's how I got it here in St. Louis. Now, there's a new car that's being built, which is the Forester Hybrid. And apparently, according to Subaru, that is what's been taking over a lot of the production in Japan. Now, let's talk about another production area that Subaru has, which is Lafayette, Indiana, right here in the United States. Now, this is a place where they make a lot of their other crossovers, I believe, like Outback, Crosstrek, Legacy, and Ascent, I think, are the four that were made there. But the Legacy no longer is. I believe the last Legacy finally came out of that plant, so they are actually ramping up production to start making Forester hybrids, Foresters and Forester hybrids there, but they're not there just yet. So because of the fact that they've been making them in Japan, they haven't been making a lot of WRXs. If you don't make a lot of WRXs, which means there's not a lot to sell, which means sales are lower. So according to Subaru, that's what's going on. Now, their idea is to eventually bring the production of the Forester to America so that they can go back to making WRXs, which again, that's fine. And I understand that. So I think sales were down. They said about 74% compared to last year. That's pretty low. But according to the numbers that Subaru is giving, there's only 500 of them, 500 WRXs or so in the United States to even purchase, which is considerably less than last year and the year before, if you kind of take a look at it. Now, everything else in the Subaru lineup obviously sells like hotcakes. I know right now when I look at, I actually have sales data, which is actually pretty cool that I actually get to look at. The Forester is actually beating out the Outback, which I actually thought it'd be the other way around. And the Crosstrek is not that far behind. All three of these vehicles are selling like crazy. Even the BRZ is selling, obviously not as much as those other three, but I mean, more people obviously need Outbacks than they need BRZs. So that's all fine. I'm glad that there's an answer to that. And hopefully, once they can move the production of the Forester, we can see more WRXs and all that good stuff. Now, that's the part about the sales. And sometimes people look at the pricing and say, well, they went from having a $29,000 WRX base, albeit, to having an entry point of $36,500, or basically $37,000 for a WRX. Now, to that, when it comes to the base models, there is something that we need to talk about. Subaru obviously is a for-profit company and has decided that a lot of base models just need to go. And they're doing it based off of people who actually buy them now. It turns out that barely anybody, I think it's like 5 or 6% people buy the base model WRX and BRZ, so they can them, along with the Outback and a couple of those other models, because it just seems like the updates or the upgrades that you get moving on to a premium or beyond are just worth a lot more to people than it is to get a base model. Now, I know the base gang in the WRX community does like to say, well, it's the lightest and it's the easiest to modify, but you know what? It does have that shitty double dash, which I've never liked. And you know what? It doesn't even show you oil temp, which is kind of a weird thing to have. But anyway, the WRX price went up and everyone's losing their mind. Of course, because nobody else was really showcasing that their prices were going up. Everybody was kind of holding off. Now, maybe it's because Subaru is a smaller company, they couldn't really do that. So they were one of the first ones to actually raise their price, which sucks. But then now we're seeing other companies are raising their prices, especially competitors or cars that are typically cross-shopped from the WRX. Now, Volkswagen is citing tariffs as the reason why their cars are going up. I actually found some numbers here that I have written down. The GTI used to, and these are numbers from 2022 versus numbers that we have today. So in 2022, you could buy a GTI, whatever model that was the lowest one for $32,000. Now they're coming in at $36,000. So that's a pretty hefty price increase. Same thing with the Golf R, which I don't know how many people are cross-shopping a Golf R with the WRX. I feel like that's a different price point normally, but they used to be $45,000. Now they're selling for $48,000. Now, I can't find any indication on what the price on the new Elantra N is going to be, but I remember originally when it first came out, it was like about 33,000. Now it's about 35 and a half. Now there is rumors. I don't know if it's rumors, if it's actually true. I'm not that tapped in with the Elantra N community, so you'll have to tell me. But they're actually switching the 2-liter engine over to the 3.5-liter engine. And if they do that, obviously that price is going to increase. It's not going to be 35,000. What it's going to be, I don't know. It could be 37. It could be maybe 38. It's hard to say. But that's happening across the line. Now, I do know I mentioned originally that the Hyundai was actually made here. I think it is not. So tariffs would also be a factor here. Now, the Civic Si is something that really comes in, that actually gets lucky. Out of all the vehicles, is one of the few that was only 28.5 originally, which, considering everything that you get in the Civic Si, creature comforts and all the amenities you get, is actually then and now still a fantastic value proposition. The only thing is, many people look at they judge a car based off how much horsepower it has, and of course, being at 200 still doesn't really do it much, doesn't do it any justice. But I have driven last generation Civic Si, and it is a good car. Now, the price increase of this is still only technically 30,000, which is not bad, considering you're still getting a quality Honda. So that's something to think about. Now, I did look at the Type R, and that's going from 44,000 to 47,000. Again, a car that, much like the Golf R, I don't know if it matters that much that price is increasing, because if you try to go buy one right now, it sucks anyway to do. And if you're trying to look at the used market, forget about it. I remember I saw somebody bought a Gen 1. Somebody bought a Gen 1 2 years ago for like 48,000 used, and it was like 25,000 miles. So like, this is, I don't know what the hell's going on over there. So that's like a whole mess. Now, the last one, which is really interesting, this is just a recent bit of news, or actually maybe it isn't recent. I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm not really tapped into cars that are not WRXs these days. So this article is from September 24, 2024. Wow. I guess I am a little behind on this. I thought this happened this year. So 2025 GR Corollas bases are no longer $36,000, right? The biggest thing about the GR Corolla when it first came out was like, cool, it's an amazing hot hatch, 300 horsepower, this and that, coming in at $36,000. That was pretty crazy, especially considering just last year, I guess before this news, when Subaru announced that their WRX was going to be, they're dropping the base and it was going to be at $37,000, having a $36,000 GR Corolla undercut it was pretty crazy. But there was rumors that these cars were just not selling for MSRP, and people were like, price gouging on that. That sucks. Now, they did give you a couple of added things. All of the models now come with limited slip, which is actually pretty damn good. They upped the torque to match the Maurizzo, which is I think like 295. Those two things alone is amazing, but like going from 36 to 40,000, 3,000 extra dollars for limited front and rear, I don't know. That still may be a value to some people. I know us from the WRX community would love to have had any sort of limited slip front or rear, but just forget us, right? So Toyota's still trying to make it. Toyota's still trying to give the people what they want, but there is a price increase to all this. So all of this to say, I know that the price increase on the WRX, it does suck, but now that we're seeing, it's not the only one. And honestly, it sucks across the board. This is agnostic of any community. As a car community as a whole, we all suffer when these prices go up. Now, is it nice that sometimes they give us more for that price increase? Sure, that does help. In the WRX's case, we got safety features like the eyesight, and I know people don't really like it, but honestly, most of you need it, because I've seen the way you people drive out there and it's terrible. You're on your phones, which I'm also guilty of. People do their makeup in their car, people don't pay attention. I got people watching YouTube like this. I know somebody who actually puts their phone in the dash and watches YouTube while they drive. I don't want to be driving with that person. And if eyesight means that it'll save me from that dude hitting me or vice versa, then you know what? It's fine. And plus, Bucky already showcased by driving straight into a barrier that it'll stop you. And then also doing the autocross track, it wasn't going to stop them from doing it. So it's not as intrusive as many people think. I know there's some anecdotes here or there about it, but whatever. The point is, the price goes up, at least you're getting something for it. So it's not just like, hey, cool, it's literally the same car. which it seems most of these cars probably aren't. I don't know how much extra features the GTI and the Civic Si are adding, but clearly something like Toyota, they are adding something to justify it. So what do you guys think? How do you feel about these price changes? Does the price change and all of this stuff change your mind of getting a WRX, or for or against it? Would you pick up a Corolla for $40,000 with these added features? Or are you waiting for something new to come out in 2027, right? Or maybe 2028? You know, maybe you have a 22 WRX or any one of these cars from 2022 and you just don't know what to do. I don't know. It's a pretty interesting situation that we're in because, you know, even though we keep hoping that we make more money at our jobs, but the damn cars keep getting more and more expensive. It's very frustrating. So tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Hopefully this video was informative and enjoyable, and I'll see you in the next one.